Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 13. It's the quarterfinals. We're on the bracket now. And guess who I found at the food court of Costco?
Hey, it's me.
Immediately banning out that Spectre there. I don't know. I feel like it's the easy thing to blame the Spectre in that game. I don't know. I don't think that was a good idea.
I didn't see game one, so I have no
Sure.
opinion.
You know, like I said when we were watching that game, I think that had a lot more to do with Spectre being untouchable through the 3 and under club and through the Ember Spirit as well than it really did for Spectre herself. Like, he changed the context of the game. I think Spectre just sinks. And again, the Sand King gets through. So does the Invoker here.
Okay.
You want to talk about a lose-lose here? You've let the Boofus Sand King through, and even though you banned out some Iceman, he couldn't ban out all Iceman, so you got his pick in early.
10 seconds remaining.
It's not
Yeah, it's classic,
great.
the Invoker.
Not great.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Puck! Immediately bringing out the puck to try and do something about Invoker. I don't know, I feel like maybe that was an ill-advised move. I feel like if you bring Puck out later in this game, it's like, it's too late for them to do something about it. They got Invoker this early, right? And, I mean, they might hypothetically ban out Puck, but I don't know. Do you ban Mickle when you're playing MK-Ulty? I don't think so. I don't think that's really the strat. I think you ban Matt and Lambert.
Essentially, yeah.
You know, Mickle, you can say a lot about Mickle. He's playing base. Now, base is a very important role to play, okay? You ever listen to a band without a bass player? Ain't good. But he's playing bass. So I think you can risk that. I think you can run that risk. Get MK-Ulty just clearing house, looking only at pause ones here. LST looking right at one's back in response. It's going to be a funny game as a result of that. Both guys' pool are going to be just completely flushed out here.
Yeah, classic.
5 seconds remaining.
I didn't get to see pick phase last game. You know, here's a fun fact for you. The pick phase in that game, they like the game broke after pick phase. They just had to restart it with the same lineups.
Oh, nice.
We actually didn't get to see it. Though I would bet, given the heroes that got let through, they probably did pretty much this last time as well. Just kind of banned out pause ones. Ban out Iceman until he picks and just ban pause ones.
Radiant team pick.
I don't know if I agree with that strategy. You're throwing too many darts. You're letting them build so much of a team, it's like, it doesn't matter if Kai gets a substandard 1 pick, right? It doesn't really matter if he's playing something he doesn't want to play, if he's on a team where literally everybody else is, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like we said, it's ironic. It is actually ironic because this exact same thing happened against Iceman at one point. It's like, no, not Iceman, it actually happened against London, didn't it? Where they were so focused on trying to get rid of London that they just let the entire rest of the team just build whatever the hell they wanted to build. And, you know, they made London have a worse game than usual, but even that didn't matter. In the end, he still ended up on top because, you know, when you have 5 guys counter-picking 1, and then 4 guys counter-picking 5, it's really hard to deal with that. There's the main coming out. It's a Wraith King as well.
Okay.
Look, it's the Quap Circles lane that we kept running, even though it didn't work
Yeah, it is.
over and over. You know, there's one thing that LD2L Season 13 has taught me, beyond a shadow of a doubt. You want to know what that is?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
I hate the Wraith King Grimstroke lane. It is so counterintuitive to itself. Like, Wraith King can't use Ink Slow basically at all. he's too brittle to actually be like as offensive as Grimstroke wants him to be in lane. You know, he just falls apart if you sneeze on him. He can't like follow up on things
Dire team ban.
unless he goes so far into lifesteal that he can't do any damage.
Radiant team ban.
Again, the exact same 300 club for LST as got through last game, in fact. And on the other hand, if the enemy team goes offensive, what's Grimstroke going to do? He's going to silence them for a couple of seconds, and then he's going to look at them and just kind of hope they don't run Wraith King over while they run him over.
Dire team ban.
Could have Grimstroke go 4 and Ogre Magi 5, I suppose, but I don't know if that's what happens this game.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it.
No Mars, by the way. Looking at Matt here. Matt is the man of the hour.
10 seconds remaining.
MK-Ulty, of course, still banning out pause ones.
5 seconds remaining.
You know, I
Pretty
feel like
obvious
this.
they threw less pick.
I feel like this is more like, I don't know. This looks more like a ban list for the Chris version of this team, you know? Like the PL and everything.
Right.
Banned out PL so Wraith King doesn't just get mana broken and annihilated early, but like...
Yeah. That's pretty bad against Wraith King's bad against PL.
Radiant team ban.
Also bad against Ursa, so those make sense.
Right. Literally 6 bans for Kai.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
No, they're not dead.
They're all dead.
I mean, like, Wraith King's dead. Kind of.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see Marcy in semis probably. He's in captain zone now.
True. Yeah, very likely.
Dire team pick.
No Enigma. Marcy's going to come into LD2L in the semis here with a element of relative surprise and a niche that even if her pub win rate isn't good, I think if you're in an organized game to any
10
degree,
seconds remaining.
she probably is considerably
She's all over
useful.
DPC right now, so
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Well,
Perhaps
this isn't
unsurprisingly, I
DPC.
yeah, it's not.
But I'm
DPC,
saying,
but
even at like an LD2L level, it's probably going to be better at an LD2L level than it is in just a random pub. You know, even if
Yep.
LD2L is like, you know, your 3.5k and under league. Just having everybody on mic and everything, I think, changes where Marcy fits into the equation so much, and it just boosts her so much. It's very hard to argue with. Very flexible as well. You know, kind of like DP in the last patch. It's like, if you don't like how things are going for Marcy, whatever way the chips fall, you can pretty much just put her wherever you want, except like one. Axe attacks. It's the last
not
word I'm just trying
sure
to...
how good of an axe game this is.
I mean, it basically
looking
just
at it
depends
right
on
now.
what Kai says. What Kai picks.
Yeah, I suppose.
This is actually a very risky maneuver. Like, I guess it's a soft ban to a degree,
10
but
seconds
if
remaining.
Kai picks a hero that literally just doesn't care about axe, this is a god-awful
5
axe game.
seconds remaining.
I mean, okay for catching Invoker
Absolutely
sometimes,
not
but
what I
that's it.
expected.
And that ain't a
Right.
great axe target.
Wraith
That
King's
is.
rough in the Razor too.
Yeah.
I mean, Wraith King's rough in the most pause one matchups, honestly. I don't know. I'm not really sold on the hero.
Wasn't it like 2 days ago where you were like, oh, you don't like any Wraith King matchup?
Yeah, I still stand by that. It's
You were talking about me when
not
you
sold
said
on the
that.
hero. Like, definitely not sold on the hero.
It's very surprising. I don't know, I feel like maybe a gap there for MK-Ulty. I feel like if you had looked at Season 12, you probably banned the Razor there.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, this is a really good Razor game and a really bad game for anybody on MK-Ulty. And that really goes to show where the bans can lead you sometimes. Like, they were trying so hard to get rid of Kai, he still landed on a good pick, and thus they had one ban this game in practice, and it was Void Spirit. That
Yep.
hurts. And this is the ultimate tragedy. Because usually you would get to a situation where one person on that team had a hero they didn't want. No, you have 0. 5 people on LSD have heroes they want.
I think Card's pool is too deep to ban around him. I think you just have to accept, like, ban the must bans and then just
Yeah.
accept whatever he picks.
No, you can't comfort ban them. There are people in LST that you can comfort ban, and Kai is not one of them. Chris isn't one of them either, for the record. I think Chris is the
Yeah,
exact same
sure.
scenario. Budget Miracle.
Prepare for battle.
HF friends.
Throughout the eons, I have been known by many names, but my true
That's good to know.
name of power is Carl.
Where do you think you're going?
To Carl.
Hey, Roshan?
Carl's
Hey,
Jr.
We can see you in the Roche pit. We see you doing it.
Good luck.
Jeez. This whole scenario looks a little rough for MK-Ulty. There is one bit of good news. They don't have that much to do about Puck. There is one bad bit of news. I think still enough, though. It's gonna be a lot riding on Puck this game, I think. Like, the silences and dream coils, especially any of that Pierce Magic immunity, are going to be
30
so
seconds to battle.
important for Mickle this game. I hope he's a Puck professional, that's all I'm gonna say. If he's not, I feel like MK-Ulty is gonna struggle to really do much of anything. It's a bad Axe game, like, Axe hates seeing Sand King, Axe hates seeing Razor, Axe hates seeing Rubik. I mean, pretty much nobody on this lineup, except for Invoker, and like, Axe only likes seeing Invoker because he can just like call him out of some of his escapes, and that's it. And that is Axe's secondary function. It is important. He is probably going to get some very good kills on Invoker this game. Don't get me wrong. But it's not enough to make an Axe game off of it. Not a good game for him. It is not a good game by any stretch for Wraith King. It was already bad before the Razor comes on because, you know, hey Randy, what's something that LST had in first phase that really screws over Wraith King if they ever meet each other in the early game?
What do they have?
I don't know, Randy. It's a very hard question. Yeah, I do not like Wraith King into Razor, and I sure as hell don't like him into Invoker. I don't know what the deal exactly there is. Like, I really don't understand this pick, to be honest with you. Really don't get it. It's just Lambert has had success on the Wraith King. It's a comfort hero. I think this is a wrong time to go for comfort, to be honest. I think this is the time to go for good. This does not look like good for him. I did do the roll call last game, so...
Well,
No, don't
is
worry,
that-
I did do that.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I think Puck can do alright against Invoker mid, though. I think needs some time to really make that special. Tanking looking a little low, but that's all they can do to him right now.
This would make a great story for if you were going to live.
I guess if there is one upside, Grimstroke is somebody that Sand King just super doesn't want to see in any lane. I don't know how much Rubik cares about Grimstroke, but Sand King certainly does. This is a wall-time Burrow Strike from Sand King. They're definitely dead if he hesitates on that or
Definitely.
just kind of does it wrong.
They kind of revealed their sentry to get not much there.
Yeah.
Fortunate.
Nothing for you.
Nothing for you. Looks like I'm pretty low here, but not going to really seal the deal on that. Run over meat. Pretty deep for it. Just lost about as much of his health bar in kind.
Okay.
Do get the stun out on Sand King there, but again, there's
He wasn't in it for long.
Yeah. Wasn't in it for long, there's no detection on him that time, so
I am so good at Dota.
nothing comes out of it but the ink swell damage and That's less than it looks like it should be. So far, the end matchup is completely
Yeah,
even.
equally low, oddly enough.
Yeah,
At
nobody's
least they're
getting any
denying
far.
each other, I guess.
Run over meat is super dead. Bye,
Yeah.
mate.
Okay, draws first blood.
This is a good Razor came and he got first blood. Uh-oh. Likely gonna get shut. Nope, never mind.
That was a sick lift.
Yeah. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch,
It was actually
ouch.
timed perfectly. You love to see it.
Just another bit of bad news. Like, this lane needs any more bad news. And then he snipes the courier for the ultimate disrespect. Puck is saying goodbye there. Iceman, very, very low here. He's gonna have to play
Yeah,
very
he's just gonna
carefully.
get
Puck's just gonna get run over. Off lane, he's gonna run at Bliss. Last game there was a like a confrontation where Run Over Me got stunned by a centaur twice in a row because it lasted so long. Turned around. That was the wrong time to turn around. He had his Q ready. Ugh. So sad. Wraith King had to get a soul ring. I mean, he had to because he's literally never going to reincarnate if he doesn't. And he's still not going to reincarnate if he gets stunned for a significant amount of time before he goes down.
Yep.
Even the levels right now at mid are just completely even. Nobody has any sort of real XP advantage. No one has any real sort of last hit gold advantage. Iceman is starting to pull out a little bit, but not by much. That's a very good, small amenity there. Outside of Axe being able to chase him, really don't have much to do about the Invoker either. He's going to be very bad for them this game. And like Axe can chase him, but he can't seal the deal himself. He needs something else to do there. It's not going to be, in real politics, that's not going to be an everyday scenario. Wraith King here. He's being brought right in front of Sand King. He says some Chinese stuff. I sadly do not speak that language. Guy like Matt getting tethered here. He's in all the damage in the world. Root comes out. Good timing on the call, though. Stops much bad from happening here. Or me likely dead. Yep, there's dead again.
Unfortunate. There's a lot of damage thrown out in this Razor CM lane, Kind of the Arcane Aura kind of propels Razor to spam skills more, and when he can spam skills like that, he does a lot of damage.
At the very least, they're gonna get Rubik up here top. He actually dies of the Wraithfire Blast DOT tick there, which is interesting.
Right.
Bounty.
Such just a bad lane. I mean, this could be going a lot worse for MK-Ulty, but man, this hoits to watch. You do not want to be, even if Ogre Magi is not really much of a melee hero, in practice he's going to be mostly his W in a lane like this. Still sucks to see, to have to do that against Razor and CM. Like, Razor is technically a melee hero, but he really isn't. Might as well not be.
Actually, an uphill miss is technically a ranged hero.
Does go down to a Dream Coil there.
Yeah.
Good timing, good run-in by Mickle there. Ironically, that's something you would
this lane out.
kind of expect to see from Iceman, ironically. Going off his traditional game plan.
Iceman's kind of winning the lane now, so he doesn't really need to rotate.
Well, that's the Iceman plan. He wins the lane so he can rotate. Very common on the rotation, especially
Right, but if you're winning this much, then might as well keep that event. Like if you rotate and fill to get anything done, you're just kind of throwing away the advantage you got.
That's true. That's just not traditionally. That's not a particularly traditional thing for Iceman. You know, like I said in the first game, you know, the typical Iceman plan. He wants to get an early win at mid. Usually likes to get some kills, though he's not opposed to just walking out with a tower either. Ace is going down while this little fight is happening to Bud. Axe is actually still in a lot of trouble here. Root comes out, he's dead. Oh, this sucks so much. It sucks so much to be godlike mad today. But as I was saying, the traditional plan for him, you know, he likes to win. He gets a kill, maybe a tower, takes the first rune he can, then just goes and tries to get kills and snowballs. It's the traditional Iceman game plan.
Yeah.
So we'll try to just translate a mid-win into other effects, rather than traditionally trying to farm it out for himself. So both mids here kind of running off the usual game plan that they have. And we're taking a firm look at Rubik here, but just can't do anything. Doesn't have the confidence to go for him here. Ribstroke is showing up. They
Oh, shockwave.
they found
Ah.
and down he goes. Just gets
It's,
sliced right in half by the Skeleton King. Then he gets tipped. And then Invoker shows up.
Well, Iceman.
Yep. Patience is most definitely dead. While this is happening, of course Bliss is also going to go down, so the mids just split +5s here, which is kind of funny. Puck might get a little more than Bliss for his trouble here. They have found Kai.
I'm not sure they kill him.
TVs are coming out. TVs are coming out on Muss.
That is a good coil.
It's a good coil, but Iceman's here, and he's not in it. Boofus is here, he's not in it either. Didn't get Pug in the EMP, but he's got nowhere to go but hell. The tornado, just a frame too late. If Iceman wasn't on that Europe ping, that's probably dead Ogre too.
Right.
Not what you want to see happen. Let's look over at that net worth chart here. Yeah, this isn't what you want to see either. This is looking so bad for MK-Ulty right now. Like, this is looking horrific for them. They have got to be panicked. Well, I mean, they don't see this, but you gotta know, I think, with how this lane is going, that Razor's probably where he is on the net worth chart. There's so few answers for him. This sucks so much to see.
The awkward insta break.
Invisibility.
Invisibility.
Come forward on the Lambert.
He does have his reincarnate by this point. So there's that.
A little bit of age.
Bliss just randomly dies somewhere else. There it is.
That EMP is going to be a problem for Wraithing, though.
Yeah, he's going to need his shard. Not his shard, he's going to need his...
Shard, yes.
Yeah, shard, as soon as humanly possible. Not actually looking at that at the moment. I don't know. He's banking on being able to soul ring it, but like, that's a big ask. That's a really big ask. If you're gonna soul ring it, you have to not be stunned, buddy. You know? And this is not a team that has anything to be worried about when it comes to CC to some degree. You got the Sand King, you got the Rubik. Sam can't really stun you in a way that prevents it, but...
Actually super smart too for Iceman to go Quaswex this game. All those guys really hate EMP aside from maybe Grim.
Oh, well this push was happening. Mickle randomly died. See how that turned out. Oh, just got sniped by a tornado. That's so sad!
Actually sick from Iceman.
If I was Mickle, I would cry myself to sleep that night.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Close the Spectre
get this
middle.
tower?
Bottom tower has fallen.
Shut up and say thank you!
No, sorry.
Alright, then don't. See if I care. Bliss found a double damage rune here at top. Max found the letter Q.
Stacks.
Dire's middle tower is is under attack.
It's good. I mean, unfortunately for Lambert, he's in the worst possible situation because if this game gets won, it's going to be off the back of Puck and Axe. I just really don't see how Wraith King does anything this game.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Okay.
attack.
Pretty sick.
Still is burning furiously here.
He is. He's
But he
got
has the
Battle Hunger
puck!
and Ignite on him. Yeah, well, yeah.
He has the
So
puck,
this
the
came to be in the
Luger.
first place. But yeah, that was pretty sick by Shockwave. I'd love to see it.
You get a Shockwave putting on a ace display. I mean, you know, you would have seen this in the first game as well had you been there for it, but you were
Literally,
like, I gotta get
literally
one more
F
Dota
fire
game.
or what?
Everybody's gathering up in mid here,
There.
including this.
First fight.
It's a really weird looking Forge Spirit, I gotta say. It's like a little mini.
Oh, there's an
Shadow
epic going
Flare.
on.
Yep, solo Epi there on Grimstroke, who drops a Desperation Ult before the death, but that doesn't accomplish anything.
Okay.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And again,
So
it's,
they probably drop Epi there to guarantee this push more than just the kill features.
right. Unfortunately,
Well.
the use of Epi to guarantee the push is not actually guaranteed it.
It's not gonna quite.
Oh,
guarantee
no!
the push. Oh,
Oh! That is so sad.
they need to get more than Bliss.
Yeah. Razor isn't a
Uh,
bad spot, but nobody's looking at him. Okay, looking at him a bit more now.
Alright.
Battle Hunger's out. But he's regening more than the Battle Hunger's taken out of him.
Ooh, yeah.
Supports go
Not
down,
for
that's
sure.
it. That is not really a worthwhile trade. Especially if Axe just spills here. Oh,
What?
man. Okay, yeah, he did.
I think got him.
The fact that Razor didn't die was worse than anything else that fight. Like,
Yes.
it just shows Axe just needs Blink Dagger. He needs Blink Dagger yesterday. And it's just not a realistic thing for him to have at this point. He's pretty far, it feels like, behind the
We
curve.
just got it.
Oh, you just got it? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I didn't see it on his
NBM, bro.
career.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that is... That just looks so rotten from MK-Ulty at this point.
This'll come in handy.
Randy, you're a doctor, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm a doctor.
As a doctor of Dota, you must be very, you know, keen on the feature of the skeleton, right? It's like half
Yeah,
of your
yeah.
anatomy class. Alright, so since you're an expert on the skeleton, what do you think the skeleton can do this game to have some impact? I mean, he's got to, or they're going to lose, right? But how?
Not sure. I mean, he needs a BKB.
Needs BKB, needs Shard.
Yeah.
Weird that
And,
the Rubik call makes the same sound.
Yeah, pretty good.
Needs Shard, needs BKB. Needs a lot of defense. And he's not looking at that right now. He's confident enough. He's trying to go right for Dessa, but
Yeah, run up by Kai here.
yeah, just runs
Dove into
so
T2.
far down. The use of the skeletons there is
Oh.
good, but
Dire's structures
just goes down again. Does not have the ult for it either. Still on CD.
Oh no, getting tipped.
Illusory orb here. Takes two, but nothing comes of it.
attack.
Well, not the illusory orb, it was the dream coil that took two, and nothing came of it. Mead in a pretty risky spot, going deep for Blackacre there. Another call just doesn't work out. Do you remember earlier when I was talking about this is just such a bad Axe game outside of being able to catch Invoker? Things like that are what I meant. It's going to be very hard for him to do that much in this game, no matter how he plays it.
Gotta get out of here.
Yep. And you know that on one hand, you know, great, MK-Ulty's getting kills. On the other hand, we just traded, you know, two. I mean, it looks like we traded 3. We really traded 2 cores for 2 supports. And that happened right after Skeleton King got picked. It ain't good. It ain't good. It's another thing that tends to happen, I think, in games like this. It's like the support line just gets constantly bullied, just picked apart, but it just doesn't matter. There's no follow-up. It's a good thing Page just randomly turned around there to cast Q, or else it's probably going to be a stand on the floor. Kind of compromising position for Sand King, especially with the Dream Coil out.
Big tornado.
Axe gets to call out on CM. CM is just super dead. Thought for a second Rubik might have just stole Culling Blade.
That would be funny.
Does Rubik get permanent charges if he calls somebody? That would be wild.
You don't get permanent Finger of Death stacks if you steal it, so I don't know. If it works the same way as that, then no.
Yeah, I don't think you get the scythes either. Where do you think you would? You get dual damage, right? So.
Just because anyone who wins a duel gets dual damage no matter what.
Yeah, that's true.
Being Calling Blade charges.
Ooh,
Iceman's in trouble.
Very compromising for Iceman. His stun and silence has lasted so long, he goes down. Finally gets chopped in half by Axe there. Unfortunately, on the other hand, Razor did just get BKB. Upside is, at the very least, even though I don't like Axe against the Razor, at the very least, Axe is going to be able to hit him, you know, keep him stunned through that BKB, which is very important to Razor. Probably the single most important thing you have when you're talking about Razor. Can I deal with him when he's magic immune?
Yeah.
Because if you can't, you nothing to do with your life. Zankin got caught.
Oh, that's a good freezing field. Oh my god, they're taking so much damage right now.
Guy just gonna run over Axe. Mickle stayed too close to the sun! Not the Phoenix Sun. Stayed too close to this fight, just got annihilated by the Razor's hula hoop. Ooh, that was so close!
That was very close, yes.
Ooh. Run over Meat is now a very appropriate moniker. Lambert is trying to get the hell out. Very lucky for him that there's no vision on that Raga. There was. He's just gonna get lifted and killed. Or rather, Rainfire blasted and killed.
Regeneration.
Oh man. Regeneration. Feels like Axe, you know, he's finishing up that blade mail soon. That is good. It feels like he needed that 10 minutes ago. Like, it feels like Axe needed to spawn into this game with 3 items, you know what I mean? Like, he's not even, if you really look at things objectively, he's not really that far behind. He's behind 2 cores, he's basically tied up with a 3rd and a 4th, right? So he's not doing that bad for himself, it just feels like he needs so much to do well this game.
Yeah, delete Shockwave from the game.
Does not get the call, which is very sad for him.
Bliss?
It is fine.
Oh, okay. That was awkward.
Yeah. I think me just got annihilated by the pathfinding there. Tips Bliss.
It's a genuine tip, maybe.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Jeez. Again, like in the last game, it's like we finally get a minute to think here. A minute to catch our breaths, to look objectively at what's going on. And look objectively at this really not so good fight that's about to come up here for MK-Ulty. We finally have a good Grimstroke ult after what feels like a whole game, but literally all that comes off of it is just a double Wraithfire blast. That is nothing at this point. What?
I mean,
What's that?
It's more of a disengage, I think, but it didn't work.
Once again, Matt just eats the entirety of what Razor's got to offer. Razor just waits out the blade mail. Has nothing to say to him. Is not going to work.
Oh, he got soaring off.
But His Soul Ring is going to do nothing but buy him about 3 more seconds.
Yeah,
War on the next tower.
unfortunate.
And then some tips.
known by many names. But my
I mean, he played that well. That's the saddest thing. He played that well. It's just his pick is the dog's bollocks in this game. You know how Winamp, whenever you start up, it used to say that it really kicks Salama's ass. No, really whips Salama's ass.
Radiant's top
This
tower
game,
is
Lambert Salama.
Dire's
Right.
structures are fortified.
He's sitting there with Razor at net worth. It literally doesn't matter at all because Razor answers him so well that Wraith King needs to have, like,
Radiant's
he would need to have an advantage similar to the advantage that Kai had in the last game against him. Let's have his Deso. It's got a King's Ransom of 2 charges. So he's gotten 1 kill with it, that's good. 2 teams about to collide again. I'm getting ready here. Bot rune spot. EMP to start here. Only really gets Matt. Matt is so
They're
depressed at this
kiting him.
point, he can't even yell.
They're super kiting him.
Grimstroke comes out on the 2 last possible people. You wanted it on, just goes absolutely nowhere. Razor's sitting on 100 bonus damage, 150 nearly.
Dire's middle
Has that
tower is
alacrity.
under
Unfortunately, the bonus damage wears off right as the alacrity comes on him. Pretty nasty combo. Blackacre just keeps slamming the ground there.
attack. Dire's
I mean,
middle
they're just
tower
kiting their
is
heroes so well right now. Like, Wraith King can't reach out. Axe definitely can't reach out. Oh, Shockwave.
Yep, going out here. Very dangerous.
Oh, the bait!
Ooh. But the bait 2 ways. Sand King going down, Rubik going down, everybody involved with this going down. I think they got cocky there.
Essentially.
Just trying to get
I
more
think
funny
they're
picks.
a good idea in theory, but
Dire's top tower is
it
under
was
attack.
kind of counterplayed well by Mickle team.
You can never count them out. Yeah, you gotta remember, these guys were just dominating wire to wire all through group stage. You do not go wire to wire all through group stage if you can't at least do something like perform in a game like this. If you give them mistakes, if you give them openings like that, they are going to they're going to fill in for you. Gonna come right in, get it done. Iceman is going to deny an Invis rune. And scout out the Roche pit just in time for Roche to go down. Why they turn around? Okay. Everybody turned around to try and kill the Forge Spirits there. Almost just left Roche alive. Would have been funny if the Forge Spirit just walked up to Roche and sniped it to steal the Roche money.
We could deny the Aegis with it.
Wraith King almost sniped a Curry with a Perseverance for Razor. Been bad for him because that's his
Refresh
refresh
orb.
orb finished.
Refresh Word BKB, 25 minutes.
Yep.
It's pretty scary.
And again, he actually doesn't have much more net worth than Wraith King does, but he feels like he's worth about $1 trillion more.
His Wraith King's not a very good hero.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I could have sworn there were more.
He's a very niche hero. He's very good for the circumstance of you're fighting an enemy team that's going to be based around the 5 seconds of fun, right? Like, he's great into, like, a Mars. He's pretty solid into, like, a Pangolier. He's great into an Enigma. You know, things of that nature, right? Great if your team fight is, like, 5 seconds long, if you've got big team fight ults. He's going to win every time in that scenario. Matt always thinks he has Blackacre, but he never does.
He's
Really
getting
good in this.
flanked by the Sandstorm.
But if you're not focused around the 5 seconds of fun, if you're not focused around team fight ults, if you're not focused around that short term, Wraith King has nothing to offer. If you can take him 2 times, then, like, you can take him 2 times. And I know that's very redundant, but Smoke Gang gets immediately broken. They just walk right into Mickle. That's not a bad target to walk into. Brimstruggle comes out, ties Razor to Sand King. They're just kind of sitting there, just kind of finding it hard to do anything, but they do stand right on Mickle as he comes back up, and God like Matt is just eliminated from play. Run over meat, dead. Peaches, probably dead.
Dire's middle tower
Bliss randomly gets chopped in half by Skeleton King in the background. Yep, Peaches is gonna go down. And Sand
Wraith
King
King
is
here.
chasing the Wraith King. The Battle of the Kings.
Oh. On the MP.
Has to Soul Ring it.
Right. Yep.
Soul Ring is going to likely give him reincarnate. He's armlet toggling this so well. Blinks out. Gets sunstruck! Right as the Soul Ring wears off! Oh no, baby! Oh! You hate to see it. Oh, you hate to see it.
Okay. I don't know, budget miracle. That's a real miracle too, right there. Holy.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god, dude. I would jump off a
beauty.
cliff instantly. That is as sad as a man can be. Right when the Soul Ring wears off. It had to be right
That's
when
such
the
a
Soul Ring
sick
goes down.
Sunstrike, dude. That was actually the sickest Invoker play. Maybe in LD2L history. I don't know.
Buy here's the moral of the story. Okay, buy a goddamn shard. You're 4 mana short. Axe whiffs the call again. Laymeal goes out, but he doesn't have anybody here that cares. Wraith King buys.
That's a weird buyback. This is super risk. I think if they kill Kai, it's worth it.
Razor needs to go down, but
Oh, the
in the
Invoker!
tornado, they're just getting smashed to bits. Best death yet. Axe does live to cut again. It's going to be so long for the TP into this, though. Wraith King's already dead. Axe did not even get a chance to TP, and Wraith King is already dead.
Iceman is actually ridiculous right now.
I'm feeling ridiculed right now. And Axe does get the Culling Blade on Shockwave. What does it matter? Mickle just randomly died down there trying to kite.
is under attack.
Axe is in a very compromised spot. That's a good dust, but
Good tornado! Pretty sick.
immediately gets spotted out with the tornado.
This
This is sad for Axe. This is not when you want to call Razor, but he gets him!
You did get him.
Razor's actually so far ahead that even if you don't actually get the,
Dire's bottom
if you don't get him
Iceman too.
when he's linked, you can actually still kill him on Axe. And that, right
What
there, that is the unfallible, that is the upside to Axe, always. You're never immortal in a game with him. Ironically, if you're Razor, you're a lot more immortal in a game with them if you have less net worth than this. If your damage is all from Link, you're immortal to Axe if you're not linked. If your damage is just regular damage, then yeah, it's, you know, self-fulfilling prophecy right there, right? You're always mortal, he's always going to treat you like it. He knows what he's doing. And Lambert's going to laugh in stereo. On one hand, hooray! We got Lambert, we got the godlike, it was even a Culling Blade kill, I mean, yeehaw! On the other hand, oh my god, was that not even kind of worth the investment that went into that? One kill on Lambert, or not kill on Lambert, one kill on Kai, one kill on Razor equals one dieback from Lambert, one dieback from Puck, I believe. I'm gonna check that. Yeah, one dieback from Puck. And a buyback, no die on it yet, but a buyback from Axe as well. They had to throw every single resource they possibly could to actually win that fight.
Radiant
They had to
structures
give
are
up like 10 minutes of progress, 10 minutes of farm basically, to get that done. And the saddest thing is, they didn't even keep their goddamn T1. Goodbye, Sand King. Just picked and destroyed there, but
Almost.
Mickle here looking kind of equally picked.
Yeah, he's dead.
Which, that's a bigger kill. Especially in a scenario like this. Like, You know, it's going to be sad. I'm sure Blackacre is going to cry when he hears this. Literally does not matter if Sand King goes down. They have so much to follow that, they have nothing to fight with if Puck dies. Razor is going to slap...
Give you a refresher.
Yep, use a refresher actually there,
my.
mostly for the Link. More than anything else. Wanted to get a second Link out on Wraith King, just clear him out there. It's a reincarnate, says job's done. Goes cleans up the other support. Meat gets away with just a trace of health.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are
LSD getting to sort of split two lanes here. Both top and mid, and favorable equilibrium though. They're going to find it rather tough to push uphill against this lineup. And they've got a horrific lane down there at bot.
Well-gotten gains.
Well-gotten gains. Back to the net worth chart here. Kai currently carrying a 4K net worth over the Wraith King. Wraith King was finding it hard enough to live in a world where he was equal net worth to Razor, let alone at
Dire's
a
top tower is under
increasingly
Very-
bad-looking deficit.
Very unfortunate.
Axe is currently the top net worth on his team, which is no surprise there. Uses the proceeds to start looking at a Heart of Trask, which is interesting. Honestly, as contrary as it seems like it would be to Axe, this would probably be a better Halberd game than it would be a Heart of Trask game. Oh no, it's actually a Strength Blink game, rather. You can see the Strength Blink, I guess, but the Strength Blink seems to be missing. Like, the regular Blink seems to be just off-kilter just so often here. Their positioning just does not really make blinking very effective here. They're never going to be in a place in fights where a call is going to be able to get multiple, and it feels like they really need that to happen. God like Matt's so desperate to get it to happen, sometimes he just kind of calls nothing, trying to at least run the gambit of getting to. BKB comes out on Wraith King. This is a very late BKB for him, it feels like. It's going to be nice for him to have that 9-second magic immunity for a while, though. It's going to do him a lot of good here. BKB is going to be generally stronger, I would say, MK-Ulty than LST. 3-man smoke coming out. Sand King, Razor, and Rubik coming out smoked here, but they got a long way to go before they find anybody. Oh, ain't this a classic scenario? LST invade the enemy jungle just to see that MK-Ulty doing the exact same thing. MK-Ulty, though, are actually turning around there.
They're not doing the same thing. They're actually going towards Roche. This could be a fight. This could be a big fight.
Likely run into Bliss here. Yep, got like Matt revealed.
Going. Yep. They see him.
Got like Matt called out. Good hold of the grip strokes for it. Good call there as well, but Axe is just so far behind, he's just doing nothing. He actually just whipped that Calling Blade, which that ain't good. Sand King is buying back. Puck just randomly going down again. Lambert is in an awful spot. Lambert is in such a bad way. Gonna casually go down. BKB likely to come out here. Oh, good call from the Axe, but just doesn't get anybody. They kind of see it coming there. The chain is out, and Lambert is dead again.
Finish it.
And they get a free Roshan now.
Yep. Well, I mean, they were the ones originally doing Roche, so
Yeah.
they get a free finish to Roche.
There you go.
An very expensive Roche, though more of a tool for the enemy team, who took one support for all their lives. This is looking, again, this is just looking gone for MK-Ulty. That was basically as good of a go as they're going to get in this. They left the shard there. This is as good of a go as it feels like they're ever going to get in this game. Like, everything kind of went well for them in the way that fight started, and it just still just went so wrong so fast. Like, got a really good Grimstroke ult, got a really good call that had no damage come out of it. That's the trouble with Axe and
It went
Razor.
wrong because Kai is out of control right now.
That's the problem with Axe and Razor. It's like, if Axe calls Razor at the wrong time, if Razor isn't just killing himself on the blade mail, then Axe doesn't do anything to Razor. And Razor wasn't killing himself on the blade mail there.
Kai's approaching 10k ahead of Lambert.
And the irony is, it's like, in 99 out of 100 situations, that's like, Axe doesn't care. In 99 out of 100 situations, Axe says, great, look at all that money crash on my side as you just explode from your own damage, right? Usually Axe doesn't care, but Razor's a trickier kind of guy to deal with than the typical Axe fare. At the time,
Yeah,
it's
what's
so
up with
well.
Smart Pick?
Real politics just doesn't work out. And again, you know, it really just almost begs the question. It's like, you put that much thought into banning out the Kai, but it seemed like you were looking at least that much at his LD2L play history. I know, when we were dealing with Lich Lich Better Have My Money back in Season 12, planning around this game. Razor was on the list there. So it has been known. Poor man Smoke on MK-Ulty's part. It's basically the last desperate defense. Last shot they get.
They do get Kai,
That...
but I cannot say it matters. He has Aegis.
No, actually it's worse than that. It's worse than the fact that he has Aegis. Did you see what happened there, Randy?
We got linked this.
No, it's worse than that. Like, him being linked is okay. Him being linked is actually good. You kind of want that to happen to you as Axe. The worst possible thing, though, happened to Axe there, right? When he went on Razor, the Inkswell popped. Razor was stunned the whole time, did no damage on the blade mail. Second he comes off... Yep. Second he comes off, he's down. This is over.
Okay, a triple kill for Bliss.
This is donezo. Got the buys, but just a very helpless game. Last time, when I was like, I don't know why they haven't GG'd out yet, Mickle immediately GG'd out. Let's see if he does it again this time. Lambert won't stand for this. Pages won't stand for this. Meat won't stand for this. Everybody's buying back.
Oh. I mean,
They got such a huge bit of ground to cover here, though.
If the season's literally gonna end, you might as well take the last fight, right?
Guess so. Good Inkswell.
Oh, the Wraithfire Blast.
Yeah, the Wraithfire Blast trolled the Sunstrike, that said. And it doesn't matter at all. Goodbye, Lambert. Goodbye, game. WP1. And that's it.
Next will be auto.
In perhaps the largest upset we've seen in casting LD2L so far. LST 2-0 over MK-Ulty. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have gone crazier over this had this not been spoiled for us, but we are the second guys to do this. I thought we weren't gonna be doing this. Alright, what's the analysis out of this game? I think Mickle's really good at picking. I think Mickle is one of the best pickmen. Not the Nintendo game, or the characters in it. I think Mickle is one of the best pick guys in LD2L, but I think this game was a major exposition to his ban strategy. I think this made his ban strategy, like this series, it made his ban strategy look awful. And the sad thing is, I actually kind of knew about this leading into this game, because I actually talked about the strategy for the LSD series with Mickle not long before it happened, and when I told him about how effective it was, you know, the strategy he had against LSD last time, he was like, oh, we're not doing that again? I was a little nervous hearing it, and I was a lot more nervous seeing it actually happen. I think the deviation from it killed him. I think if he just didn't, you know, if he didn't overthink how, you know, oh, Iceman's just going to pick cores early, right? and they just kind of went with the same ban strategy they did the first time. You know, corner Boofus into a hero he's not comfortable on, deal with the support line, right? If they just want to repeat with the strategy, I don't know what LST does in this series. Because, well, in the second game, you have the perfect Razor pick, but the perfect Razor pick comes out because MK-Ulty is trying so hard to just counterpick, and that's all they got is counterpicks. What's on the board? They just leave themselves so well. I don't know. I can't even say that. I gotta say the Wraith King pick is very confusing. You know, even having said all that, I think the Wraith King pick is very confusing. Just to be blunt with you, the Wraith King to Grimstroke, it didn't do anything for me this game. The Grimstroke ulted like 4 times, it felt like, and none of them anything happened coming out of it good or bad.
Well, that's just kind of Grimstroke in a losing game, honestly.
I think Grimstroke in a losing game has a lot of potential with the comeback with that ult. It's just nothing came out of it here. It's just too losing. The core issue was just why the Wraith King. I just don't get that one. But like I was saying, right? I think I think Kai was overthought. Like, you want to talk about a lose-lose? Like I said at the top of pick phase, you know, they dropped 1,000,000 bans on his head, and they still ended up with something they didn't want to see on him this game. Like, if they had focused on the 3 and under club with the bans, at the very least they would have won game 1. I think this game is a total wash in any capacity, just on how the picks and bans came out here. We're like, I don't see how this is winnable when we're running like this. I don't like the Grimstroke Axe. I don't like the Grimstroke Wraith King lane. It's okay later on, but it's just not a good lane. You know, so on and so forth, right? Puck really has nothing to do with it. Puck almost redundant compared to Grimstroke if you think about it. But, you know, this game is probably a wash, but I think if they ban out the support line, Spectre probably just sinks game 1. They have a game 3 here. I think the bans, overthinking the stand-in, is really what led MK-Ulty to this point. I think there was some good play on LST's part in both of these games. I think the draft had a lot more to do with their success than the play did, to be honest with you. Which is no slight against LST. MK-Ulty is just that damn good. You know what I mean? Nobody is going to outplay MK-Ulty this series, and even in a series where they go 0-2, it's not going to be for play. They're too good. You know what I mean? So there's definitely no insult there to say. There's a lot of draft, and that's something that you can put on your shoulder. That's something that you can say, oh, we did good with anyway. You know, there's definitely good play. There's good play to back it up. There's a lot of draft. I think game 1, game 2, it's a lot of draft. It's good news for LST if you're beating the guy I just described, one of the best pickmen in the league.
It's even better news for LST that Iceman specifically is heating up the way he is, because, you know, you look at the teams that had success last season, the 2 teams that made the final had mids that super heated up in playoffs.
Right.
And Iceman is showing that, you know, Season 12 Trash Boat, Season 12 Manoy tier kind of heating up.
Right. That is definitely good. Like I said, the play is definitely good. I don't think as a unit. I think the issue right now is kind of as a unit. You know, it still does kind of feel like the issue that LST has always had, where you basically have the pause 1 and the pause 2. And in this patch right now, this is what I'm about to say is going to be the case for everybody. It does feel still sometimes like Iceman and Kai in this game are just kind of playing a different game than what Boofus, Shockwave, and Bliss are playing. You know, we saw that with that fight they took outside of the mid T3s, where the 3 and under club just randomly got smacked for basically no good reason at all. You know, if they can fix that leading into this week's games, then if Iceman can stay on this level, and if they can keep that draft strategy in their pocket, then, you know, they're putting themselves in a very good position against Otto's team, because I think that's 3 things that Otto's team doesn't want to see. I think if Otto is able to field a better draft pool, if he's able to play if he's able to just not bleed out, if he's not able to leak a lot to Iceman, if he's able to play conservatively, if he's able to change the script for once and put some more on his pause 1, while taking more of an objective look at the offlane, I think Otto's got a very good shot. I do think it's and this is the match we're calling here, by the way, the LST and BAR match. It's coming today when you're
Yep.
watching this, presumably. Um, that match, I do think that is going to be one of the harder matches to call, perhaps on the entire bracket, even theoretically. So, we'll be doing that live. I think it's going to come in a lot of ways just down to, you know, can Otto avoid making the mistakes of MK-Ulty, and can Iceman uh, put the last of the pieces together to put himself in a point where, even if he is overcome, because I doubt Otto is going to let this happen. Even if that issue does not exist, even if the ban issue, for example, doesn't exist, can they live in that world? And if they can, then I think it's just going to be very much in LSD's corner.
Right.
So I guess this is as good a time as any to do our team rundown for MK-Ulty. It's going to be tough because, like I said, I don't know necessarily if if MK-Ulty's biggest issue this season was playing. That's going to be hard to tackle them. Let's just go most obvious things to say to least obvious. Mickle! You're not a mid, brother boy. I mean, maybe you are. People are talking about, oh yeah, Mickle actually has like a lot of Ember Spirit and what have you on record. That's fine, that's good. But it just doesn't feel like your strength set is here in this lane. I understand the strategy that you kind of employed this season and being almost more, like I said, playing the base, being more of a supporting actor for Lambert and Matt. But it's so much easier to do that, and it feels like it has a lot less stake for your team when you're doing that from pause 3 than from pause 2. If you are still in the till next season, because I know Mickle's very close to the top, I've been privately expecting this is probably
like
his.
3490.
Yeah, I've been privately expecting this is probably a one-off run for him, right? If this is not a one-off from Mickle, I doubt we're going to be seeing him mid again. I've had this funny feeling he just goes mid this season because he knew he can handle it and he knew there were basically no mids in the pool. But I do think there were a couple of occasions where he got exposed. I think this particular series, it really just, I don't know. You look at the Mickle performance in this game, you compare it to the Iceman performance in this series, and even if you take you take account the fact that Iceman's team showed up with a much better draft both games, it just still didn't look like a great performance for him. If you want to be mid, I don't think you do. I do think you can do it, but you're playing mid like 1,000 MMR under where your real skill level is, and that's a big shame. So if you show back up again, try to just wrangle yourself a mid. Lambert's cool, but you don't need Lambert when you're Mickle. You can build around you and be okay. Anyway,
Yep.
Next up is Run Over Meat. What can I say, Meat? You missed like over half this season and it showed. I don't think he missed over half, but he missed a lot of games. I think he was missing practices, things like that. Run Over Meat had the least to do with MK-Ulty, unfortunately, both in the literal physical terms of being there and in terms of it felt like impact on their lineup. If there's one thing I would say about Run Over Meat, you need to get the time on the field with your boys, just in general. It really felt like watching this season, you were just... It wasn't just that you hadn't played the last 2 weeks' games. It felt like you hadn't played games in like the last 2 months. Just felt like you were just kind of out of whack. The theory was still good. The theory was there. Like the plays in the Spirit Breaker game were good in theory. Just some of the mechanics, like I said, there's a kill on Sand King you missed in the first game because you accidentally earned yourself rather than him. Like that sort of thing. That just screams out of practice to me. That kind of hurts going into a bracket game. I don't know. Now, I don't know the Meat real life situation. Maybe there's a very legitimate reason you just didn't have time to practice.
I mean, life always prioritizes
Yeah.
over a silly Dota league.
Right. So don't get me wrong. But if you can get some time on the field, if you're on like a team this serious, I think it's definitely good for you to do it. Both with teammates and just alone. And I don't mean that turbo, brother. I mean the real game. Peaches! It's all good news. I feel like I said, on MK in the first game on MK-Ulty, if you want to talk about the most visible improvement through this game, I think this might be the coming out season for Peaches. Um, because I think this is the season where she turned from the Stepford support to the really good support that has so much more to offer. To be honest with you, the Grimstroke game notwithstanding, the Grimstroke game didn't do well. And I think maybe that would be the thing. The pool. It seems like for Pages, the pool is such a big deciding factor for the games. It's like if Pages plays her MMR or 2K above her MMR, it in any particular game, it feels like most of the time that's just kind of determined by the pool. So to that end, I guess it's kind of the same thing as I said for Rada. Learn when to let it go. Learn when to say something's not working. Though I do think you could afford to experiment a bit more. I mean, Paige has played like 4 things this season, I think, in total. Um, learn when to let it go. Learn when some of these heroes aren't working, because there's definitely a different Pages on the Grimstroke than there is on the Dazzle. There's a different Pages on the Dazzle than there is on the Jakiro. Try to get them more in line. Maybe that's a bit about consistency. Maybe that's just about making sure your edge is always sharp with some of these guys. I don't know. Hard to say. Godlike Matt. Oh boy. Poor Matt, dude. This looked like it was going to be the season of Godlike Matt, and it just kind of slipped out of his fingertips at such an awkward time. I think there's a way I would put this season, and this is unfortunate. It felt like we never saw the Godlike Matt game, if that makes sense. Maybe the one we missed that we were going to cast a few weeks ago, where he was like Enigma and all that. Maybe it was that. But it just feels like we never saw the Godlike Matt strength being played out in this game, in this season. And I gotta be honest, especially with how apparently you've been in the past. I mean, like I said, you know, you get fed as Storm Spirit when you run in an LD2, and then you tell people you can't play Storm Spirit, for example. Not in like an I don't want to play it, but like I am bad at this hero kind of way. It does make me think you don't know your own strengths to a degree. It does make me think you don't understand what Godlike Matt is good at. What is Godlike Matt good at? Godlike Matt is really good at making your uphills hell. He's really good at disrupting your team fights, and he's really good at being an engineer with a lot of items, a lot of tricks in his bag at his disposal. And Godlike Matt can certainly run like a Tide Hunter. Godlike Matt can certainly run an axe and look really good in doing so. But I feel like it's almost a disservice to yourself that we weren't seeing more of like the Enigma, we weren't seeing more of like the Darkseer, the Kunkka, of heroes of that description in this particular season. I feel like you need to do some self-discovery. You need to look at your own stats sometime. You need to look at not just literally wins and losses, but the quality of those wins and losses, the quality of your own play in those wins and losses, because you can certainly, especially from 3, lose a game that you did really well in. It's probably if there's a position where that's going to happen, it probably is going to be 3. Make no mistake. So to that end, I think maybe just at some point just do a deep delve of your own stats, especially your LD2L games. You know, in your season histories, your Fluffy Hat games, so on and so forth. Where did I do well? Where did I excel? And I think if you do that, probably the best pause 3 in the league. But you gotta figure out where it's at. You gotta figure out, you know, how to make yourself, you know, you called yourself the Shield, but you tried to be the Vanguard. Be the Shield. You're great at that. And the Vanguard is a shield, don't get me wrong, in Dota terms anyway. But it's a different kind of shield. It's not your kind of shield. Play that D, man. Play that D, murder people. That's all I'm gonna say. Lambert, what happened, bro? Oh, those last 2 matches look so bad for you. What would you say to Lambert after this whole season? Learn how to lose. I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah, this made you look horrible on a loss. It just made it look like you had no idea what to do when you needed to turn things around. And it is an unusual situation, and it is an unfortunate thing to say, because, you know, what do you say to that? Like, go lose more, right? That's just
Right.
play more matches. But I think Lambert's biggest problem, in at least this series in particular, we did see it sometimes in some other Serie I throughout the season. It feels like he just, whenever he loses, he goes into comfort and not good. And you can't do that. You can't do that as one. Can't go into comfort as one, or else games like this happen to you, buddy boy. Gotta lean into good. If you lean into good, whenever you're down, if you keep a cool head, you turn it around, you just stay on full cylinders, if you're able to walk away from that game one like it never happened, outside of literally the reconnaissance value of it, basically, but if you learn to walk away from that game one like it never happened, you're going to do a lot better in games like this where it's really on the line. And we did see a little bit of that in Season 12 as well. I mean, that Pangolier game, for example. The Pangolier. I mean, I know that was like 98% on bad itemization on the 3 in that game. Don't get me wrong, but the Pangolier pick in that game just... Anyway, just comfort. It's just comfort. It's not good, it's comfort. I don't think that works for you, buddy. If you're somebody you know wants to learn Dota 2 at a casual or more competitive level, go to ld2l.gg. I would usually motherfuck the BBC here, but it is 6 in the goddamn morning. I really want to get these games up as fast as humanly possible, so please excuse me for ending it here. We'll see you next week!